So our wind lab is on maritime spatial planning with the focus on the North Sea in Europe. We decided to focus on maritime spatial planning because of the very big push offshore wind is getting lately from the European Union. And as we know, the North Sea is a super busy sea already with fishing, shipping and military, but also we have nature protection and restoration that we have to do. So now adding another pressure coming from offshore wind is very difficult and challenging, so we decided to focus on this. So coming back to maritime spatial planning and what maritime spatial planning actually is, it's this tool that is supposed to help us coordinate all these activities at the sea, and ideally would then have a sustainable usage of this sea. This, taking into account all of these things that are going to happen, could be very challenging, and sometimes we have to think about how to collocate certain activities. So for instance, is there a potential for co-locating offshore wind and fishery, offshore wind and aquaculture, offshore wind and tourism, for instance? So we're going to look at the co-location possibilities, challenges, examples, good practices. We're also going to look at how to quantify all these nature protection and restoration targets that we want to do, and some actors are already doing in the sea. So we're trying to have this holistic look at the usage of the North Sea, focusing on the nature protection, offshore wind, fishery, and potentially other sectors as well. So in our wind lab, we're actually going to leverage a lot on the work from the Offshore Coalition for Energy and Nature, which is a very unique coalition where we have environmental NGOs, transmission system operators, and wind industry. So this coalition exists already for a few years, and the whole thing about this coalition is to build common understanding and also to advocate for best practices to become a standard, actually. But within this project, we also want to reach other stakeholders that we usually don't have in the coalition, such as policymakers, such as local authorities, such as fishing association. So the idea is to include a plethora of different stakeholders and find a common ground between them. So the only way to go forward is to find common ground, and sometimes this means being at the same place at the same time and brainstorming together, and this is how we see co-production activities. Just staying in your own bubble, not talking to each other, doesn't lead us anywhere, so this is how we see that co-production can change how we talk about stuff.